I was sent this video to see if I knew how to do it and if I could do a tutorial on it, and honest to God I didn't know how it worked, but I just watched it like 3 or 4 times and I figured it out. So it's one of those things, you know, a lot of these secrets, you can easily do these tricks. Like, if I wouldn't have known these little techniques, there's no way I would have ever learned this. So I didn't perform this in front of a spectator because I don't have anyone to perform it in front of right now, and I liked this trick when I first saw it, so I wanted to show everyone how to do it instantly. And it's a trick that Criss Angel did, so that's kind of cool because Criss Angel keeps his secrets on lockdown, and so it'd be really cool if you knew a Criss Angel trick. So when I started off, actually you're going to need 2 things. You're going to need a red card from another deck and just a regular blue card. Nothing special with this card, but this card has a piece of double stick tape on it on the front. Right there. See? So, and all you do is you put these 2 cards together and give them a little pinch, and now it's like they're 1 card with 2 different colored backs. And I put a red face up on the blue deck. So when the trick started off, I started off with this because I do leave my tricks here until I think of another one, and then I'll come clean up the cards and what have you. So I was like, alright, I found out a new trick, but I took my hands off the table like quickly, just enough time for me to change the deck. When Criss Angel did this, he came up to a couple that happened to have a pack of cards, so I'm sure he carried around different styles of these cards. Where this was either like a red bicycle deck, a blue bicycle deck, like something that he could make the trick work for any deck. And he came up to the couple on the beach, and he's like, "Man, I sit down," and he took their deck. So I think like while he sat down, they sped up the frame rate, and like somewhere in there he switched the deck without it being too noticeable. So he switched the deck. So now this whole deck was Criss Angel's custom-made deck, with this being the custom-made logo as well, a custom-made card, and the couple's original pack of cards. So that's the setup. But when I was doing it, I had this, so you're just going to have to figure out a way to, you can just go up to someone and have the cards like face up, and if you want to shuffle them like face up, that's all in well too. But you can't do anything too revealing. So you can't spread through the deck, you can't do any false cuts. That's like the big flaw about this. They were already playing with the cards, so all he had to do was take the cards and go right into the trick. And all the trick is you go face up and you cut the deck and you tell them, go ahead, pick any card you want. We'll go through, and while you're doing this, you should turn over and like point your pinky at the card, like get that red in their mind. You should think of your own performance piece to do this on. You can take like whatever Criss did, but I didn't have a spectator, so I couldn't really think of a good story. That's why I explained it the way I did. So you have them pick out a card. It's like King of Spades, you know, you can take the Queen of Clubs, always making sure to expose this red back, like get that sealed in the mind. So, Queen of Diamonds, you know, blah blah blah, because you're only showing that one red card when all the rest of these are really blue. So, okay, so you want the 9 of hearts or the 10 of spades? Alright, 9 of hearts. You don't even have to do a break with this, which is nice. So you square it up, and you give it to the person, and you go through and tell them everything you just did. We took your pack of cards, we picked out a card that you chose, which was the 9 of hearts. Alright, turn your hands completely over, and with the magic, you magically got the cards to turn to blue when they were blue all along. So, like, realistically, there's only one red card in here, but it has a blue-looking back taped to it. So you go through one at a time. They can inspect these cards, except that red card. And so you go through, and when you get to that red card, you take every card off the top except this one, because you know that this is their card. This is their 9 of hearts. So you get through that red one, you're like, wouldn't you be shocked? And then you can catch a break right there. Wouldn't you be shocked if this red card was your selected. Double lift, 9 of hearts. Like, oh my god, that's crazy. Now all you have to do is really take the 9 of hearts just by itself. You don't need to do another double lift because really here's the card. So it was like this, and when the card was face down, it was like this. So like, wouldn't you be surprised if this was your double lift 9 of hearts? That would just be crazy. And so then when you spread through, you can't expose this card's red face. So you go through, and then when you go to flip it over, just make sure to push that card in the middle. Just throw in all these, so you're not really exposing that red one. Blah. And then when you turn it over, it's just like that. You can let go through the rest of the pack. You can really bury that card. Make sure it's out of sight, out of mind. And then what if I took this and just do your best magician impersonation? Alakazam, Alakazoo, what have you. Perform your magic. And got that card to match the rest of the deck. So it's one of those, you gotta figure out your own routine, you gotta figure out if you want to do a deck switch or if you want to do the shuffles face up. But that's a cool trick. I can see myself performing that in front of people. Like, it's not one of those where you have a gaffed card and you're like, oh, I can only do this once in a great while because it's too gaffed. It seems like a realistic type of trick that you could easily perform in front of a group of people.